Welcome to this Grandma's Life podcast. I'm your host, theciaellis. Get ready to laugh, learn, and grow with me as we explore growing old in an ever changing world. One of the good things about growing old is people judge you less when you sometimes say outrageous things. I'm getting older, and I've had a fascinating life. I also have opinions. You may not agree with those opinions, and I may not care. Even now, I am passionate about many things. I love to learn. I love quotes, and I love my country. Join me as we explore loving life even as we age. Today is December 26th, 2025, and this is episode 88, My Unconventional Word of the Year. In this episode, I will explain to you the concept of the word of the year. We've talked about it in the past, and other podcasts do too, but some of you may not be familiar with it, so I'll go over it briefly. And we're going to go over some of my past words. And then I'll tell you about the word I chose for 2026. But first, oh my gosh, it's been busy. I'm going to tell you about what's been going on. Okay. I went to Arrowhead State Park a few weeks ago and I got to, I just posted that on on this Grandma's Life channel. And I did a hike through the trivia trail. And that was actually kind of fun. I was apprehensive because I didn't understand some of the things. I'm trying to learn how to hike, and I'm doing a lot of this by myself, and so I just don't know what I'm doing. And anytime you do something new to you, you get a little apprehensive. But I think I did it end up doing well. I didn't do that great for the trivia part of it, but for the hiking part, I did okay. My internet for so long was so bad. I don't know if it was all the um, solar things that they were having for a while, or if there was just a tower problem. I know our whole town struggled, and it didn't seem to make a difference on what internet you had. Well, that's not exactly true because but the cell service, anybody who was AT&T or any of their affiliates, and apparently AT&T owns a lot of cell companies, and have have a lot to do with the internet also. And so I don't know. We struggled for a long time, but it's finally back up. It's finally consistent, and I'm really grateful because it was difficult to get some work done without my internet. Um, my job took me to McAllister for a day a few weeks ago, and we had to do a rental car. It was another woman and I went down for some training for the day, and that was a long day because I can't remember how far it was, but it was 2 or 3 hours drive just to even get there, and then sit in training for 8 hours and then drive back. But we did it and got it done. My youngest granddaughter, she just turned 4, and we had a birthday dinner with her, and that was really cool. Yeah. So now my grandkids are 23, 19, and 4. I've been visiting Kinsey at college occasionally. She's been doing cheerleading and stuff, and so I go up and try to record hers, to video her stuff. I don't have much. I think I've only got one thing of hers up on Kinsey Lackey Sports, but it gives me an opportunity to go up there and visit with her and be with her. And then after they do their games, we go have some dinner together. And I just love being with my girl, and I really love doing that. And so I always try to make a point. The only thing is, one day I was driving up there, and you guys know I haven't been on my farm for almost a year. It's been rough, and my very favorite dog. Well, I love both of my dogs, Candy and Beethoven, but I was driving up to Kansas, right, and I think it was north of Nowata, between Nowata uh, and Kansas. There was a great big old Anatolian Shepherd looking dog right in the middle of the road, just wandering around in the middle of the road. And it looked so much like Beethoven. I just boo-hooed. It was not him. I was grateful. But he had traffic completely stopped until he just kind of wandered off and did. You could tell he was confused. He wasn't in any hurry or anything. He just was just wandering. And I don't know what he was doing, but it sure did break my heart. I really prayed that he made it home safely. We had our Thanksgiving dinner. Well, one of the Thanksgiving dinners, we had one of them at the community center. There's a lady who's trying to um, get to doing things with the community, and my office is in the community center, so I get to be a part of all of this. And we decided, my friends and her families and all that. So a bunch of us went over to the community center, had a really nice Thanksgiving meal over there, and that was pretty cool. I've been struggling with a couple of injuries. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how bad it was. Okay. injured my shoulder back in 1998. I hit a truck with my bicycle and rolled off the hood of the truck. It's a big pickup, and rolled off the hood of the truck and landed in the middle of the road. I was able to get up without getting ran over and stuff. But it was, I don't know. My shoulder's giving me problems since then. And when the weather gets colder and as I get older, my shoulder gives me more problems. And so I've been trying to strengthen it, because I know if I strengthen it, because I've learned this over the years, if I let it go, if I let it get weak, it hurts more and more and more. So I try to keep it strong. Well, I've been doing kind of some push-ups, or slow motion push-ups and stuff, and I didn't feel anything go. But that Saturday night, my shoulder was real sore, and it's like, okay, no worries. And then Sunday, as it was a little more sore, and then as the day wore on, I just got where I lost all mobility in that arm. I couldn't lift my hand. I couldn't lift it. It was just very, very painful. And so I was concerned about that, and I was in a lot of pain. But I went to bed, and about 3:30 in the morning, I got to go pee, and it was really hurting really bad then. And apparently I triggered what they call a vagus nerve. I had never even heard of it, but I blacked out completely without any warning whatsoever. And next thing I know, I'm lying in the floor of the bathroom, and I had broken a rib. I'm like, so my left shoulder had swelled up so bad I couldn't hardly get my arm into a sleeve. And then my whole right side was swollen and hurting, and I ended up going to the doctor. She sent me to the hospital, and I had x-rays, and I have broken a floating rib. It's a fractured rib, and I think the fracture itself was starting to feel pretty good, but because I had basically slammed into something all the way down, I don't know, I was unconscious, so I don't know what I did. So where the ribs connect into the front and into the back, it's still sore, and it's been a few weeks. Just before Thanksgiving, I guess. So I'm getting over that. I've had several days of extensive pain, and but it's a lot better. I still hurt, but it's a lot better. I did get an MRI today for my shoulder, and I've got arthritis and I've got tendonitis in that shoulder, but I did not tear a rotator cuff or anything like that. So that part is good. So my shoulder is going to recover, my rib will recover, and I'm going to be just fine eventually. I do have a new housemate. She moved in right in the middle of me trying to recover from my rib injury and stuff. And she's going to be here for a few weeks until her place gets finished being framed in, insulated and everything like that. So it's been this poor thing. I just love her. She goes to our church too, but she lived in a little bitty shed and took care of her aunt for 2 or 3 years, if not more. I can't remember how long. And so she's not used to going down the hall to go to the bathroom. And there's several things that she's had to try to recover from, trying to move into a little bit bigger place. But I think she's finally adjusting, and I'm grateful. It's nice to have somebody around, and she's a good kid too. So that was nice. And then I had another Thanksgiving meal. Tony and Kayla, the ones that we usually have meals with, they sometimes go to Texas because Tony's dad lives in Texas. So we went, I invited Kinsey and her boyfriend Lakota and Kinsey's brother Joseph, and they all came over, and we didn't have a traditional Thanksgiving meal because I had a broken rib and it was feeling really rough. And so we ended up having chicken cordon bleu and some steamed broccoli with cheese sauce. It wasn't, but you know what? It was one of the best Thanksgivings I could ever ask for. It was so nice. There was only 4 of us. Yes, and I may cry a lot in this one. I'm sorry, guys. It's been interesting lately. But yeah, it was so nice. It was just 4 of us, and it was kind of cool. And I like it because when you love your family, you love all your extended family and stuff. But when you have so many people all kind of talking over each other, and it can get a little bit hectic, and there's a lot of things that you want to say that doesn't get said, or you find you don't hear things you want to hear about your family. But when it's just the 4 of us, it was just kind of intimate. It was kind of nice. Joseph and Lakota got to meet each other and, get to know each other a little bit. And of course, Kinsey is the joy of my life. And so that was really nice too. And it was just nice. I just really appreciated it. Every year, our church volunteers for a few shifts of ringing the bell for the Salvation Army, and I always get to ring the bell. My partner has always got like a wonderful personality, and I have a good time. And this year was no different. My friend Rhonda and I. We rang the bell together. She's a little bitty tiny lady, but she's got such a big personality, and we just had a wonderful time together. And it's only for an hour, and when you have somebody fun to be with, that hour goes by really quickly. And it did. But I don't know, it was fun. I enjoyed it. We had a good time, and I sure did appreciate my partner. Now the next week, Tony and his wife, that they had gone to Texas to have Thanksgiving with his dad. Well, they had another Thanksgiving at their house. So I had 3 Thanksgivings this year. Oh, life is rough, I never got. I'm not one of those that don't get to have Thanksgiving with people, but we had a really nice Thanksgiving then, and I didn't do much. With my rib hurting and my shoulder hurting, I didn't do much even then. So, but it was nice to get to visit, and Kayla's parents are always there every time too. So it was really cool. I No, I got to watch Tom's Aunt Frankie for several months and she did pass a few weeks ago. And one of the ladies, well, the lady who lived at the house, who was actually the actual caretaker that lived in, she had a birthday, and so we had what they call the mom group. So everybody, the caretaker and all of Tom's cousins and their sisters and myself, we all went to lunch together. Oh, and then with another lady, she's a cousin. I think she's a cousin to them, or something like that. Sister-in-law, maybe. I don't know. So we all met at like this caretaker. It was her birthday, so we all met at the Pink House. It's a like a tea room that's inside the Belvedere Mansion. It's a really neat, really cool place to go. And I took Kinsey there a few years ago when she was little, so she could, well, not too little. I think she was like 11 or 12, but I took her so that she could have a little bit of a taste of, because they do have pots of tea. I like to get the peppermint tea, and they have nice little quiches and casseroles and sandwiches and stuff. So it was a really cool, neat place to take Kinsey when she was younger. And it's also a nice place for ladies to have lunches together. I know men go too, but generally it's women. So we had a really nice lunch. But I have to admit, I felt really weird because not because of them. They're wonderful, beautiful people, but they're Tom's cousins, okay? And they have been by my side through this whole thing. But just before we did the luncheon, just before it's time for me to go to court for the divorce that has been going on and on and on. And I don't know, I almost feel like a traitor or something, because I love these ladies and they're good to me, but I'm going to court to divorce their cousin that they basically grew up together. And they had no problem with it. They understand that Tom was going through some significant issues, and it's bad, and it's getting worse. And I can't talk about it, but we did go to court. It was interesting. I got another court date in January, and we'll see how that goes too. But I don't know. The lunch was nice. Court was not, but I was really glad when date was over. When you hurt your rib, of course, I don't know. I don't want to get weak. I don't want to get weak at all. But so a few days after I hurt my rib on my shoulder, I did feel good enough. I took a short walk at the lake, because I was doing a lot of walks at the lakes before, and even jogging at one point. And I did take a walk, and it was nice. It was a beautiful day. We've had a lot of beautiful days lately. But I took a walk at the lake, and it feels good to get outside. I miss being outside. I do. I love outside, except when it's below freezing. But I love being outside, and it was a nice walk. We did get to have a Sunday school Christmas party. That's always a nice place too, that, because they're all the people that from in your Sunday school, and everybody brings good food, and we have good conversations. And we have a lady who's in our Sunday school class, and just the last couple of years, and she loves games, and we played some games, and I love playing games, and we just had a good time. at the church. Oh, I got to tell you this story. At the church, these people, they do a lot of volunteering. They do a lot of things. And some of the ladies got together and let the kids that are like grade school age, they had a pajama party. And they basically did crafts all day. I think it was like from 10 to 2, which to me is all day when you got a whole mess of kids. And they had a really good time. And then there was this man, I can't remember his name right now. He has a beautiful voice. He plays a beautiful guitar, and he came in and he sang some Christmas carols for the kids, and that was really nice. And he sang the first Noel to these kids, and I got so tickled. I had come out to listen to him sing and watch it and stuff because I was in the kitchen. I spent a lot of time in the kitchen because it's the safest place for me to be. And he sang the first Noel, and he just as soon as he finished, one of the girls goes, "Who was Noel?" And I got so tickled. I thought, yeah, I'm gonna let him handle this one, and I will. I'm gonna go back to the kitchen. Let's see. No, Joseph, my grandson Joseph, he got a new car. Oh man, it is sharp too, and he made me feel so good because first of all, for one thing, he's had some crises in his life over the years, and so he's kept to himself. And you can even text him, and he might answer you, but probably not. And he's just been kind of laid low for several years. Well, just recently he's decided, like I said, he came to Thanksgiving, and I don't know. And then he came the other day, and not only did he show me his new car, it's not brand new, it's a 2019, but it's pretty sharp. And he took me on a ride in it, and I was just so touched. And I thought that was so neat. And he offered to let me drive it. It's like, no, I ain't driving this car. This is your car. You go ahead. I'll just sit here and be happy. Then my best friend Diana and her daughter and all 5 of her kids, there's a place nearby here called Shepherd's Cross, and it's a Christian based place. They raise sheep and a few other things too, and they actually shear the sheep and they make wool, and they tell the Christmas story, they tell the Christian story, they tell, they're just really a lot of neat things that you can do there. And we went there because Nicole, Diana's daughter, had volunteered them to dress up for the manger scene. And so all the kids were there and everybody's dressed up. And we're talking about these kids, they're beautiful kids. They're 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 years old. And the 2-year-old, she's just a delightful baby. I just really enjoy her. All the kids are really sweet, but the littlest one, she has a different personality from them that just kind of touches my heart. But I just came along to video it and hope that I got that. And I'm trying to go through the footage now. Some of it's so dark, I'm not going to be able to use it. But we went to the Shepherd's Cross and had a good time with doing that. And I got to video some of that. And went on it's kind of hayride. We went around the pasture, but it was after dark, so we didn't get to see anything. And I got cold. And I didn't realize we were going to be out there after dark. We'd been there since like 3:00 in the afternoon, and I think it was 7 when we left, something like that. I can't remember. But then afterwards, Nicole took her kids and to Dad, and then she and Diane and I sat at a restaurant, and we just had a nice time talking and visiting and just being together and talking about stuff. And her server was kind of interesting. And that made for an interesting evening too, but it was nice. I don't know. Oh, I can't talk about this too much either, but after all these months, Tom called, and now he's mad at me, and because I wouldn't do what he wanted me to do. I can't do what he wanted me to do. I just can't. And he's mad now. So, but it was kind of weird for him to call after all this time, and I'm not sure how that's going to end up in the long run on that one. I don't know. We did have our Christmas meal yesterday over at Tony and Kayla's. Oh, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was nice. I got to sit next to little Ivy, and she was a good kid yesterday. And Tony, Joseph showed up. Of course, Tony and Kayla, they're doing all this stuff, and Kayla's parents were there. And then Kinsey and her boyfriend Lakota showed up a little bit late. And I'm definitely going to cry. She went over to the farm. You got to know, I haven't been to my farm. most of my stuff is still there, and some of it is very precious to me. And she went over to the farm a few weeks ago or some time ago, I don't know when, and climbed over all of Tom's stuff and retrieved a jewelry box that my uncle had brought back from Japan sometime in the 40s or 50s and had given it to mom. And mom gifted it to me. And it's just a little, it's a black lacquer jewelry box with different things painted on it and stuff. And it's old and it was in bad shape after being in the barn for all this time too. But it was, she brought that in to me to give it to me for Christmas, and I just bawled. I just boo-hooed, bawled right there at the dinner table. And I felt terrible because, well, I made Kayla's mom cry. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to make you cry. But it was just wonderful. It was just wonderful what she did. And I just love these people so much. And I'm so grateful for them. And the last thing is, the next few days, I get to farm sit for another one of my best friends. I don't get to see her as often. But when we do get to be together, we can talk, and I enjoy her. And she is going up north. I can't remember where. I think Michigan, to visit her grandkids, and I get to take care of the dogs and the cats and the chickens and the goose, and I don't know. It's just gonna be nice. I'll get my taste of farm life again for a little while, and I'm really grateful that the weather's just been gorgeous. The whole time I'm gonna be taking care of them. The weather's gonna be beautiful, so it's gonna be nice. I'm enjoying it. So I think you're caught up finally. Like I said, it's been crazy. What I'm listening to, I'm on my second listening. Good Energy by Casey Means, MD, and Callie Means, and that was written in 2024. That's been an interesting listen. I don't know. I mean, and what she's saying is based in good science and stuff, but and what she's saying is to eat good food, eat good for you food, and good quality food. And I'll be perfectly honest, sometimes that's just not possible. She was talking about eating some tofu stuff. Well, for one thing, I'm not going to eat tofu. But if you know what tofu is made, it's made from soy, and soy is highly sprayed. I don't know if you, and I don't know. But a lot of what she said has been really interesting, and I've learned a lot, but I also know that I can't do, and I'm not going to do some of the things she says. But it's been a good listen, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through the second listening on that one. I'm listening to Odd Apocalypse. I think I'm on my first listening for that one. Yeah, this is the first listening because I have no idea how it ends. So, but Odd Apocalypse by Dean Koontz, and that was one he had written in 2012. I love Dean Koontz. Obviously, you know that if you listen to any of my stuff, it's fascinating, and I just love how he does characters. I love how he describes things, and it's interesting because I've always read his stuff, and now listening to it, and the man, I can't remember who he is that does the narration. He's amazing. He does an amazing job. So I just really enjoyed it listening to them. What I'm actually reading, and I've got several books going that I'm working on, but the two that I do what I call good for me books, but they're, nonfiction books, is I'm still working on The Middle Ages by Morris Bishop, and I'm kind of getting toward the end of that. It just takes me a while to get through nonfiction books because I only study them for like 15 minutes at a time, and I don't know. It takes me a bit longer. But I'm also reading The Forbidden Door by Dean Koontz, and that's part of the Jane Hawk series, and that's one he had written in 2018. So that's what I'm reading also. All right. My quote of the week is, accept, then act. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Always work with it, not against it. Make it your friend and ally, not your enemy. This will miraculously transform your whole life. And this is by Eckhart Tolle. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have to admit, I think I've liked several of Eckhart Tolle's quotes, but then it happens a lot. You really enjoy somebody's quotes, and then you start reading about them. You go, oh, they're kind of weird, Well, he's no different. He's still alive. He's a spiritual teacher in, I think it's a Lunen. It's a Lunen, but there's like 2 dots over the U, Germany. And he was born February 16, 1948. He was named when he was born Ulrich Leonard Toll at birth, but changed his name possibly in homage to Meister Eckhart. He wrote The Power of Now, a guide to spiritual enlightenment and a new earth, awakening your life's purpose. So it's been kind of, it was, but I still like the quote. It's just kind of an interesting thing. All right, we are 25 minutes in, and I'm just now getting to my main subject, my unconventional word of the year. So, when there is a lady who is part of a group. Okay, I listen to Living Free in Tennessee and have for several years her podcast, and a woman that's in her I want to say group, but it was one of her listeners, and they've been good friends for a long time too. Jenny Hill. She introduced us several years to the concept of a word of the year, and several of us have taken it up. But actually, it's kind of an interesting concept. You choose one word that you want to focus on for the year to help you get through the year, to get what you want to accomplish in that year, move you forward in something or whatever it is, But so you have to spend time in introspection, thinking about what do you want, and how do you want it? What do you want to focus on? What is important to you? What do you want to accomplish? There's just so many things. So then when you start narrowing it down to a word, this is a lesson several of us have learned, is you can choose a word, but there's usually a dark side to it. And so when you're doing the serious introspection of what you want your word of the year to be, you need to think about, if you possible, uh, to think about what could happen. Like, so for example, like back in 2020, Nicole Sauce had decided she wanted to grow her businesses. She has a coffee business, and she wanted to grow her podcast and things like that. Well, 2020 was the year everything shut down, and so that was difficult at first. She actually went through parts of that with trying to grow it, but was unable to whenever everything was shut down and stuff. And then when things picked back up again, she worked so hard she made herself sick and ended up with pneumonia. So she grew, and she grew a lot that year, and it ended up being a good thing for her. But there was also the other side of it that made it difficult in so many ways. So that's kind of what we do. And sometimes a word chooses you. I mean, you can spend a lot of time thinking and trying to decide, and then all of a sudden something will pop in your head and you go, oh my gosh, that's the word. And but you still think about it for a while, make sure that's what it is. And and I have to admit, that's kind of what happened to me this year. My word of the year just popped into my head, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the right word. But my past words of the year were thrive, prosper, succeed, and then last year was transition. Thrive was good. Thrive was actually a good word for me. And that's the year that I had decided that I was going to live until I die. And now I started putting that at the end of a lot of my videos. And it just gave me a good attitude to get through the year and stuff. And I thought that was pretty neat. Prosper and succeed, I have to admit, I didn't focus on them like I should have. And they just kind of went by the wayside. And I neither prospered nor succeeded. Last year, the word I chose bit me in the butt. It bit me in the butt real hard. I had chosen transition. And the reason I had chosen transition is because I knew Kinsey was graduating high school, and she was going to be going off to college, and I was going to be losing Kinsey, not losing completely, but I was going to have to, it was, I don't know, basically empty nester type thing. I mean, I have to admit, I miss my boys when they grew up and everything, but Kinsey's been special to me. And so I knew it was going to be a serious transition when she went off to college, and I was going to have to think about that. Well, God had other plans for that too. Not only, like 3 months before she was supposed to graduate high school, Tom lost his head, and we lost our home, basically. She couch surfed all summer, and college was a good thing for her because at least she had bed to sleep in, And I lost my farm, I basically lost everything. and hadn't been for beautiful kindness. So first off, early on, my son and his wife, but everybody in my church, I, it's been, it's kind of interesting because I can tell you it has been a very, very difficult year, but I've also learned a lot of lessons on love, and that people take care of you no matter what. And I'm still going through this, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to have to go through this and what's going to end up happening in the long run. But boy, that word bit me in the butt pretty hard this year. But I know it's going to I know it's going to work out in the long run. So, I was in the shower the other day and trying to think of my word of the year at the time, and it did jump out at me. And I will first tell you why. Um, One of the biggest lessons I've had to learn this year too is, okay, I am a planner. I am a prepper. I plan the food. I plan what's going to happen if this happens. I plan how to handle different things over time. And I kind of a control freak, I guess. I want things a certain way. I need them to be a certain way. I have some autistic tendencies, and if things are not kind of lined up properly, I have a little bit of anxiety from it and stuff. And I've had to learn this year, I have no idea what my future holds. And you could say, well, nobody does. That's true, but you always have something to look forward to. And I don't know what to look forward to this year. I don't know. I was close in Grandma's Homestead, my that YouTube channel, to being actually monetized, and that rug was yanked out from underneath me, and I've had to do a whole lot of pivoting this year. I've had to do a lot of thinking. I've had to do a lot of praying. Just everything has changed dramatically, and it's a lot of prayers, a lot of people praying for me, a lot of people helping me and doing things for me, and me letting them do things for me. I have always been the toughest one in the room. I've always been the most reliable person in the room, and now I'm not. And it's been a difficult road, and it's been a difficult lesson to learn. And I don't know what the future holds for me. Even now, I know that there are things that they're being put out there for me that's possible, but I also know a lot of that's just not going to happen. So I have no idea. So I was in the shower, and I know this is very unconventional, but it's the right word, because it's a word that you end up focusing on for the year. Like I said, thrive. I loved focusing on thrive. I wanted to thrive. I was working so hard just to stay caught up and stay, I was doing a lot of physical hard work and running behind. And then when I decided to thrive, it helped me move forward and helped me to be stronger and happier in what I was doing. And of course, transition, it was probably the right word just because of all the events that has happened since then. I wasn't prepared for that. But the one thing I've learned this year is the one word I need to focus on is Jesus. Jesus. I don't have anything else besides my friends. I have no plans. I'm in limbo. I've been in limbo for several months. But Jesus and my friends have gotten me through a lot of stuff. And if you think about it, that's enough, isn't it? And I don't know if there's going to be a bad side to that. I guess I don't have any, I'm not smart enough to know that. I don't know what the dark side is. I have any idea. I have no idea what God has in store for me this coming year. But I do know that if I focus on Jesus, I'm going to be just fine. Have you chosen a word for the year? I know, I'm crying. I'm trying to laugh, I'm trying to talk to you. But do you have a word for the year? Find something that you can focus on. I think you'll enjoy the prospect of it. It gives you something to think about, gives you something to focus on. I would like to hear your word of the year. I'd like to know what you come up with. All right. Um, the Self Reliance Festival this last year in October, I wanted to go so bad. I couldn't. There was just another one of those things I just couldn't get away for. And I hope I can this year. Apparently, they've taken it off site. It's not on the compound where it was before. And it always, I just know that there's wonderful, beautiful people that go to that. And some of them are preppers, some of them are blue hairs, but they're all coming together and learning how to be self-reliant. And I do have a link below in the show notes that if you choose. And right now there's a sale. I can't remember how long that sale goes. That particular sale might be over, but it's still right now. You can still get a better deal if you buy your tickets for the Self Reliance Festival. It's going to be October 3rd and 4th of 2026. And if nothing else, go on the site for selfreliancefestival.com and check it out and look, because a lot of times they already have speakers set up and stuff, and you can see what's going on there. But check it out. And if you decide to go, I hope I can go this year. I'm really planning on it, and maybe we can meet each other there, and I would love to see you there. But get your tickets, use my link below, and that would be wonderful. I would appreciate if you start telling people about this podcast so I can get a 5-star review from somewhere, or maybe just be found a little bit. And I'm working toward doing this more often. I'm going to try to do this a once a week thing, and I'm really focused on trying to do that right now. I'm hoping to get enough bravery to start even live stream. I'm apprehensive of that because I'm not very technically inclined, but we'll figure it out, I guess. I can be found. My website is grandmashomestead.farm. I do blog posts occasionally, and I put a lot of recipes on there that you can find out. My main YouTube channel is Grandma's Homestead YouTube channel. And then I have this Grandma's Life YouTube channel. Grandma's Homestead was me on the homestead, and now it's mainly homestead cooking. And this Grandma's Life is where me doing everything else, like me exploring Oklahoma and doing different things and stuff. So, which is not homesteady. So that's the reason I did 2 different channels. And then I also have Kinsey Lackey Sports YouTube channel. That is the one right now. It was for softball and some basketball a couple years ago, softball for a couple of years, and this year it's been her cheerleading, and that's what's on that. And of course, you can find me on Instagram and all those other ones too. That's all I got for you today. Let me know what your word of the year is. Let me know what it is that you're thinking that you want to focus on. God bless. I'll see you next time.